Welcome to Saturnalia, the ancient Roman festival where they paused business, untied their god, and collectively said, what if society, but opposite? Imagine Christmas, April Fools, and Casual Friday formed a chaotic supergroup. Then Julius Caesar gave them a calendar slot. It started as a single day for Saturn, the agriculture guy, patron of the mythical Golden Age, where nobody paid taxes and bread grew on emotional support olive trees. Over time, it ballooned into nearly a week of feasting, gift-giving, dice games, and social role reversal so spicy it would make HR spontaneously combust. Today, we're cracking 10 fast but juicy stories to decode Saturnalia, how it worked, why Rome loved it, and which traditions accidentally sneezed onto modern holidays. Buckle up, pop on your Pilius cap, and get ready to yell, "Eo Saturnalia!" at strangers. Legally, maybe don't. Step 1 of Rome's winter chaos: untie the god. What's the worst that could happen? Romans didn't just start the party, they literally untied Saturn. The cult statue in his temple was normally bound with wool, symbolizing control over chaos. On Saturnalia, priests removed the bonds to let the spirit of the Golden Age loose. Translation: time to stop pretending we're serious. The festival began with a public sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn in the Forum, followed by a state-funded banquet. Yes, the government picked up the tab. Peak civilization. As the feast rolled, normal rules took a nap. Courts? Closed. Schools? Closed. War declarations? Take a number. The vibe? Noisy, bright, and a little feral, in a wholesome baked bread way. People greeted each other with "Eo Saturnalia," basically "Happy Saturnalia," but said like you just got dice privileges. When the statue's bonds went back on, Rome's routine clicked back in. The message: order is good, but a scheduled chaos purge? Healthier. Imagine if your city untied its giant bronze accountant once a year, then everyone got paid to eat carbs. Society would be healed by Tuesday. With Saturn unbound, Rome relaxed everything, starting with the dress code. Togas were formal, heavy, and about as comfy as a wet tarp. During Saturnalia, people switched to colorful dinner clothes called the synthesis and popped on the Pilius, a soft cap associated with freedom. Dress code? Eat spaghetti, not spreadsheets. The point wasn't fashion, it was symbolism. Saturnalia reenacted the Golden Age where strict hierarchies loosened. Wearing relaxed outfits said, for this week, we're people first, status second. Even elites rolled with it because nothing says benevolent aristocrat like wearing pajamas to a sacred feast. After the festival, togas slouched back into society like a Monday, but the memory stuck. For Romans, freedom looked like bright cloth and a cozy cap. Somewhere, a senator tried to sneak the Pilius into the Senate and got told, "Sir, that is a vibe, not a bill." Outfit secured, now crown a chaos gremlin to run the show. Every good party needs a chaos engine. Enter the Saturnalicious Princeps, the king of Saturnalia. Chosen by lot, he commanded silly rules. Sing off-key, swap seats, drink from tiny cups, speak in rhymes. Think student council president if the platform was mandatory shenanigans. This mock king, often a low-status person, flipped the normal power pyramid. Their decrees were intentionally absurd, reminding everyone that authority can be arbitrary and laughter is a pressure valve. Romans loved satire. Saturnalia built it into the firmware. Afterward, the king returned to regular life. The world didn't end, it just remembered not to take itself so seriously. First executive order: everyone must compliment the salad, even if it's just leaves. King installed, subjects hungry. Deploy carbs. It all kicked off with a public feast funded by the state. But the real magic? Households replicated the vibe. Friends and kin crammed into triclinia for huge dinners, loud toasts, and comedian-level roasting, minus the mean. The playbook: mixed seating, free talk, and a lot of carbs. Food was seasonal: bread, olives, pork, wine, honeyed treats. The goal wasn't extravagance, it was generosity. Hosts flexed by giving everyone a seat and a laugh. If you didn't have much, Saturnalia culture nudged neighbors to bring you in. After a week of eat and be merry, Rome exhaled, and probably needed electrolytes. Picture Friendsgiving, but your city sponsored it, and the soundtrack was panpipes and dice. Full stomachs achieved. Next up, legalized dice crime. Briefly. Gambling, especially with dice, was usually frowned upon or restricted. Saturnalia said, roll 'em. Discuss gambled openly, and so did kids, often with nuts as stand-ins for coins. The public suspension of strictness extended to risk-taking in games. This wasn't degeneracy, it was ritualized play. Allowing games of chance fit the festival's theme. The world turned upside down, fate laughing with you instead of at you. Dice had religious mojo, luck, destiny, divine whim. Throwing them during a god's holiday? Very on brand. Afterward, the dice clattered back into pockets in disapproval, but the memory of sanctioned fun lingered like confetti in a carpet. I bet 1 olive. You drive a hard bargain, child. You win some, you lose some, but everyone gets a tiny present. Saturnalia included exchanging small presents, especially on a day often called Sigillaria. Typical gifts, wax or clay figurines, sigilla, candles, sere, little trinkets, and witty epigrams. More thoughtfulness than flex. Secret Santa, fewer novelty socks, more wax ducks. Candles symbolized returning light as days lengthened after the solstice. Figurines echoed older offerings, miniature stand-ins for abundance, protection, or just a chuckle. Afterward, folks kept keepsakes at home, pocket-sized reminders that the Golden Age could fit on a shelf. I got you a wax cow. It doesn't moo, but it does vibe. Gifts exchanged. Now for the big inversion that made senators sweat. One of Saturnalia's most striking customs, ritual role play within households. Masters served a meal to enslaved people. Enslaved folks could speak more freely, dine with the household, even rib their superiors. The Peleus, linked with freedom, sometimes featured in the symbolism. This was not emancipation. It was a temporary inversion that acknowledged, then suspended, hierarchy. Morally messy by modern standards, but historically real. The point was to dramatize the Golden Age ideal where people stood equal at the table. After the festival, normal power returned, cue modern side-eye. But for Romans, it acted as a pressure release and reminder. The cosmos could be kinder. Progress report. Tried empathy for a week, felt great, inexplicably stopped. Hierarchy paused. Time to roast each other lovingly. Saturnalia ran on humor. Friends exchanged gag gifts. Poets tossed off epigrams, short, witty verses roasting bad cooking or praising good wine. The mock king commanded silliness. Households embraced banter as social glue. Romans adored satire. Think sketch comedy with laurel wreaths. Laughter undercut status like a controlled burn. It scorched arrogance so the forest of friendship could regrow. Even philosophers mused on moderation, joy, and time cycles, while wearing party robes. After Saturnalia, satire went back to literature instead of the dining room, but the taste for sanctioned snark stuck around as cultural seasoning. Roses are red, violets are blue, your fish sauce slaps. Consider this review. Jokes aside, when did all this happen on the calendar? Originally, Saturnalia was one day, December 17th on the Roman calendar. Over centuries, it expanded. By the late Republic and early Empire, festivities stretched across multiple days, commonly December 17th to 23rd. Calendar reforms like the Julian tweak stabilized dates, but culture did the real stretching. Because once a party proves popular, nobody votes to make it shorter. Markets set up special stalls for gifts. Writers joked about the crowds and the annual, "Where do I stash these figurines?" problem. After the 23rd, life yawned back into bureaucracy. Taxes, courts, toga lint. We evaluated Q4 morale and concluded, needs more week-long buffet. Week-long party secured. So, did it become Christmas? Kinda, sorta, not exactly. Midwinter is prime real estate for festivals. Lights returning, crops are sleeping, people need warmth and meaning. Saturnalia shared the season with other Roman observances, and later with Christian celebrations. You'll hear that Christmas is Saturnalia. That's too neat. Some customs rhyme: gifts, greenery, candles, feasting, charity, but direct one-to-one inheritance is messy, filtered through centuries, multiple cultures, and additional winter festivals. What's fair to say? Romans proved that a structured burst of generosity and laughter is culturally sticky. As Christianity spread, winter traditions evolved, reinterpreted, and sometimes repurposed. The human needs, light, community, a pause from grind, didn't change. Saturnalia didn't become Christmas so much as it left some glitter on history's sweater. And that's Saturnalia, glitter on history's sweater, carbs in Rome's heart. Saturnalia shows a civilization scheduling humility, letting the Golden Age out for fresh air, then gently tying it back up till next year. In a world that worships busy, Rome dared to legalize joy. Outfits, jokes, dice, and all. And if you ever feel silly wearing pajamas to a serious event, remember, somewhere, a senator did it first. Io Saturnalia, folks. If your brain-to-soul ratio improved by 12%, tap like, subscribe, and ring the bell so the algorithm remembers to untie Saturn next time. Then, drop a family-friendly Saturnalia epigram in the comments. Or Saturn will bonk you with a wax duck.